Melissa. Call this meeting to order with the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Prayer.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I actually think it's a pretty big deal to allow us to ask on behalf of all of us for the maker of heaven and earth to be a part of this, what little thing we're doing here. So I appreciate it and honor you guys for leaving space for it. Heavenly Father, right now, I just ask you not just for your blessing on this place, on this group, on these people, and with everything that they have to do with, but I ask you for grace, wisdom, strength to do what you put on their heart to do. And thank you also, Lord, for the position to just stand on behalf of all of us and ask for your spirit and your presence in all that we do. We honor you right now. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. A roll call, please.
Mayor Williams.
Here.
Councilor Burke.
Here.
Councilor Berger.
Here.
Councilor Cope.
Here.
Councilor Smith.
Here.
Councilor Taylor.
Here.
Councilor Zimmerman.
Here.
Roll call is complete, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I welcome everyone here tonight and those who are logging in online. I do have a couple of announcements. I want to draw your attention to the thank you note that the council received from Patty Rambo in relation to allowing her to put the memorial plaque down in Riverfront Park. She wrote it. I thought it was a very nice little thank you note. Also remind people that the EPA will be in town next week on Tuesday, July 15th from 6 to 7 in the Ponderosa Room with the Libby Asbestos Superfund update. They are doing their 5-year review and they will be going over those results. So we'll move on to approve the minutes for the regular council meeting 1679 from June 26th.
Make a motion
16th,
to
I'm sorry.
make a motion to approve city council meeting minutes 1679.
Second.
Okay. Does anyone have any corrections or additions? Okay. Are there any public comments on the minutes from 1679? Public comments, Mr. Orr?
I recognize that I'm not allowed to ask questions, but I do know that Councilman Taylor was on the negotiating committee for about 5 years. He gave reports. The reports were usually IP won't talk to us. That was the report. And then it did come out that he was just not invited to the last meeting. Now, in the minutes, you say that Mr. Noble was not invited, but there was someone there who wasn't from the city. And I expect you took minutes of the meeting, even if it was a secret meeting. You're still required by law to keep minutes. So I will be requesting those minutes in a FOIA. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Public comments? Then all in favor of approval of the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are approved. Brings us to reports from the department heads. First up is City Administrator.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, good evening. For the water department right now, the turbidity is finally decreased and the plant is running very smoothly. It's getting smooth enough now that our operators are able to take vacations and take time off and not have to be there 24 hours a day to babysit the plant. We had to purchase a new turbidity meter for the actual stream so that we can do testing for the next 30 days for the PER that's coming up that TD&H is trying to complete for us. For the sewer plant, while we're researching how to make sure our sludge can meet Class A standards so that we can dispose of it easier or sell it easier, the landfill did accept the last 8 months of sludge that we had on hand. So I guess a little bit more time to go ahead and try to get everything figured out on how to get that Class A. We're going to be putting out a request for qualifications for engineers for a wastewater PER coming up. Basically, an RFQ is where engineering firms send us their resume. And then we'll sit down and actually grade the resumes and go out based on set criteria that is put out through all the grants that we have. So we'll be doing that. We'll rank them in the order of 1, 2, 3, or so on. And then before we can start negotiations, what will happen is we'll try to negotiate with the first engineer. If we can't come to a conclusion, we move on to the second rank and then the third rank and so on. We're looking at $80,000 for the PER for the wastewater, and we've already been approved for a $40,000 grant. The good thing is we have the cash in the capital improvement plan to pay our matching funds, so it won't affect the annual budget for sewer at all this year. In other news, WWC Engineering has started the hydrology study and spoils pile engineering plan for up at our biathlon course. They were here and went up there and had Chris Noble help out. We got test pits up there so we could find out the percentage of concrete. Right now, the preliminary findings show that the only way the spoils pile would have value is if it was for a major fill job in a very close location because of the transport fees and basically lack of value of what's in that spoils pile. So that's phase 1, and then once we get this completed, it'll come before the council with all the information to make choices on where to move forward to phase 2, which would be removing the spoils pile from the area. Phase 1 of Spruce Street, as you can see, has been completed out there. That was with the SLIPA grant. They gave us $231,304, and we matched it with our $57,800 plus on that. We're just waiting for a core sample from the asphalt to make sure that meets all of our design construction standards. Noble, I think, did a great job on that, and I'm really looking forward to phase 2 starting, which should be the last week of July or the first week of August. I'm going to apologize to everybody now for any inconvenience, but shutting down that portion of the road, it's going to affect all of our renters, and it's going to affect the Ponderosa room. So we've already contacted all of our renters, and we're telling everybody that wants the Ponderosa room, you're going to have to park on this side, and it'll be really congested. So we're making sure everybody knows that. As soon as we get this phase done, the good thing is we can start moving on to some of the next worst roads in Libby. And we're looking at behind Kaiju and behind McDonald's on 10th Street. Those 2 blocks are just horrible. And we can't just overlay them anymore. We have to dig them down and actually replace the whole road. Weston Solutions and the DEQ, they're going to be here on the 17th to do our annual asbestos inspection of OU1, which is down at Riverfront Park, to make sure that there's no more deterioration of the banks or anything. And then I'll be able to speak to them about the trees and maybe looking at more soil coming in to remind them about that. As I briefed at the last meeting in June, I think I do have a plan now for a camera and developing it's called a hotspot down at the Fireman's Park for the restrooms down at there. But I got to get with MMIA to make sure it's legal and it's insurable. And then I got to get with the tech specialist and make sure that the system will actually work, and then we'd have the electrician come in and wire everything. And we're trying to figure out other options if this doesn't work. So we're going to be working on that until we can get this thing figured out. But in the meantime, instead of having it just locked, there was porta pots put down by the car charging stations. I hate to have to say this, but I just want to let everybody know that our official posting board that's up here for our agendas and everything, it's required by City Municipal Code 1, Tax 04, Tax 070. It's for official business only. It's not for homemade agendas or other items to be just hung up there. So please check with city staff before you go ahead and post anything on that official board. And that's my report, Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Streets?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. we were busy last month. Going to be just as busy, if not busier, this month. We got all our patching done, completed. We've been grading alleys, compacting. Downtown paving is about complete. I'm just waiting for a stencil due for more work that was added recently. Sam said earlier we hauled all this last winter's storage of waste that was stored up underneath the drying beds up in the dump. They took all that. We spent 4 days with the camera in our sewer mains and cutting roots and root balls with the cutter that we purchased last year to perform that work. About every other year, every second year, we're finding some of our mains, a lot of the old growth trees, a lot of roots are getting in, that old clay tile sewer mains, and it's infiltrating and causing grief. So we've been spending time with cameras in and the camera in and trying to get those roots mitigated. We did add a second seasonal employee here a couple weeks back. Seems to be acclimating to the work environment. He's doing a good job. The Department of Labor showed up for a visit. They performed a walkthrough of the shop and the outside storage areas. Found one deficiency, so I was very tickled about that. He spent, I don't know, about an hour going around through our shop and through the outside stuff and just looking for the easy low-hanging fruit, electrical, extension cords, frays, tripping hazards, nails and boards, oil on the floor, just things of that nature. So anything that causes a slip, trip, or fall, or a wound, anything like that. So very happy about that. But one deficiency was an air gun. We didn't have an air gun that was that you could use that was only allowed to regulate 30 psi for like if you wanted to blow dust off yourself. So you're not getting that full charge blast of air. So that was the only deficiency we found. We had 8 burials at the cemetery for the month of June, 7 cremains and 1 full. Our meter reader, Dusty, he's been working extremely hard when he's not reading meters at the beginning of the month to identify areas and resolve those issues, mainly with our manual reads. There's been a lot of deficiency, I guess, as far as time goes by, just the deterioration and getting good, accurate reads. So he's been spending some time on that. We're focusing on needing to get him updated to either a touch read or a radio read style meter. Thank you. And as Sam was saying earlier about the turbidities, we've been monitoring the water levels up the upper and lower reservoirs, and we replaced the boards last week for water retention. So I'll look into that time of year. We're going to be very conscientious of what's coming in and what's going on. Any questions?
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Police.
Mayor, Council, June's been a very busy month for us. We were very excited about how it turned out overall. In 2025, we had 215 cases in contact with the public. In 2024, we had 133. I'll get to that year in a second to explain that a little bit. We had 5 assaults, 8 disturbances, 6 threatening calls, 4 thefts, 2 mental health calls, 0 vagrancy calls, 7 welfare checks, 5 public assists, 9 911 calls, 0 juvenile problems, 4 walkthroughs, 12 city ordinance cases, 15 suspicious person and vehicle cases, and 8 of those were self-initiated, so officers driving by saw something suspicious and addressed it. We had 12 DUI arrests and 6 DUI investigations that did not result in an arrest, as well as 94 traffic stops. So overall, we only had 113 calls where the public reached out to us for help. Everything else was self-initiated, so we're really excited about that. And the other part of it is we see a big drop in all the other calls. There's lots of studies that support it. We're excited to see that trend here as well. That the more traffic stops there are in a community, the less crime is being committed. The higher perceived presence makes people rethink some of their choices. So it works out very well in our favor. upcoming things, we've got Officer Septon graduates the academy here at 2 weeks. So we're super excited about that. He's being awarded top shot at the academy. We recently all completed our firearms qualification as well and attended a wet lab training. In other words, to help us get spun back up on DUI investigations. And obviously that training helped out this month for the officers, so we were very successful in that regard, helping people get home safe. Any questions?
Thank you.
Seeing you guys out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Finance.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Council. Currently, I'm just working on double checking all the entries for all the computer entries to get ready for our year-end close, which the auditors will be coming in here. Usually I get the request about the end of July, so they should be asking for those shortly. And then those closing entries also help prepare for the annual financial report. And been working on updating any amounts that need to be done for our budget meeting. Our next budget meeting was supposed to be Wednesday, but it has been postponed or rescheduled, sorry, because of conflict of schedule or with conflicting schedules for Wednesday the 16th, and that will be here at noon. And I wanted to let everybody know the new website is up and running. I've got pretty much everything moved over. There are a few pages that I'm still working on to get updated, and if anybody goes on there and sees anything that needs to be fixed or updated, please let me know. And and we have a new deputy clerk. Her first day was today, and she did a wonderful job for her first day, and she said she's coming back tomorrow, so so we'll see her for day 2 tomorrow. So
You get to know who she is.
oh, sorry, Evelyn Burke is her name. Yes. And that's what I had.
Thank you. Committee reports. First one was the budget, which we did have scheduled for Wednesday, but with some conflicts, we are rescheduling that for the 16th. Building.
We have nothing at this time.
Cemetery. Parks.
Nothing at this time.
Fire.
I did not get my report from Steve, so I'll hopefully have that for the next meeting.
Okay, lights, streets, and sidewalks.
We held a meeting on June 27th at noon here in council chambers. We've sent some recommendations in for the council. We'll be seeing those on the upcoming agenda.
Okay. Thank you. And ordinance. We do have the parking right on second reading on the right of way on the agenda. Water, sewer.
Nothing new at this time.
And wildlife.
Nothing new at this time.
Okay. To ensure that everyone understands how to engage with this public proceeding, there is a dedicated public comment period next as part of our agenda. This is a time for the public to comment on any matter that is not on tonight's agenda, but is within the jurisdiction of the Libby City Council. This is a comment period, not a question-answer period. Each person is limited to 3 minutes. If you have a comment on a topic not on the agenda, step to the podium, state your name and address, and make your comment. So are there any public comments of items not on the agenda?
Karen Dinkins, 1210 Dakota Avenue. Recently, I attended a public appeals hearing via Zoom in which the initial judgment against the city was being appealed. The city attorney, Dean Chisholm, was representing the city in this case. Dean Chisholm initially objected to my presence at the hearing because he stated this was outside my role on the police commission, when in fact I was only intending to listen and ensure that previous lies that had been spewed about me were not going to be spewed again. Mr. Chisholm withdrew his objection when I stated that I was not a witness but only a concerned citizen. I find it troubling that the city attorney does not understand or respect the public's right to participate in public hearings and meetings. I also believe that his perspective on public participation is maybe what drives our mayor to restrict or limit public participation as well.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments, Mr. Orr?
So I'm DCR 1117 Nevada Avenue. So I come in here tonight and Mr. Sykes, your city administrator, asked me loud enough for everyone to hear if I'm here to thank you for the IP settlement. And I know that he's doing it just to antagonize me. And it does. So I just thought I would get up here and let you know why it antagonizes me. It antagonizes me because I wrote comments for that. You guys read them, had 30 seconds to look at what I had written, and then you went ahead and voted. I wanted to stand up for the people of Libby. I think the people who had their wells taken away, the people whose valuable water resource was destroyed by international paper, I think they should get compensation. Instead, the city of Libby takes our compensation, steals it from us, and then they call it feeding the birds through the horses. We get little bits and pieces of it. I am not going to thank you for the IP settlement. I think you guys had all your negotiations in secret. I know that we had a man that I trust there right up until the end. And then he was pulled out of there. And I know that there were people there that weren't representing the city, that were representing themselves. Now that's dirty. That's just plain dirty. And I can't even ask you questions about it because you have no policy for answering questions. That's government secrecy at its worst. You people need to develop a policy for answering people's questions. When Karen Dinkins stands up here, she's a member of your police commission. She should be allowed to ask questions and she should get answers. So, yeah, Sam, I'm not going to thank everybody for the IP settlement. Don't ever ask me again. Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comments?
Good evening, Zach McNew, 120 Cabinet View, Country Club Road. I'm here with the Rotary Club of the Kootenai Valley. I'd like to speak briefly about the closure of the public restrooms at Fireman's Park. I heard a little bit of what Mr. Sykes said. First, I want to acknowledge the history of the restrooms. The Rotary Club of the Kootenai Valley, along with many community members, were instrumental in making these restrooms a reality. Rotary members and local volunteers donated time, effort, funding to ensure the park would be a welcoming access space for seniors, travelers, and all residents, especially this busy time of year. I understand that the restroom was closed in response to some serious vandalism, including someone spraying feces on walls. That kind of behavior is unacceptable and understandably a challenge to manage. But public restrooms are an important resource to any park, and I believe there are solutions worth exploring while the park stays open and the restrooms stay open. Improved lighting, security cameras, time blocks, more frequent cleaning schedules, and even involving some community groups. Some have already approached me in keeping and support the upkeep. Cleaning and disinfecting after vandalism can certainly be unpleasant, but with proper safety gear and disinfectants, it can be managed. Many communities deal with this, not just Libby, and they keep facilities open for their public. Let's not cower to the vandals and come together as a community and keep our restrooms and our place beautiful, please. I look forward to the restrooms being open again. I don't use the restrooms very often. I don't have kids, but I was there the other day at a birthday party with there was probably 100 people at the park. One person being handicapped. They had no place to go to the bathroom. But while the city did supply 2 bathrooms, they're not handicap accessible. Thank you for your time.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments?
Tracy McNew, 120 Cabinet View council members. I'm here tonight because something deeply troubling happened in our community on Wednesday, June 18th, something that every Libby resident should be concerned about. One of our visiting physicians, an internationally respected doctor who oversees the World Trade Center worker screening program, was pulled over by Libby's chief of police. She blew a 0 on the breathalyzer, as did her passenger. 0. Despite this, she was handcuffed, subjected to a blood test, and taken to jail. The drug test also came back negative. She was clean, so why was she treated like a criminal? She was here volunteering her time to support our asbestos-exposed community, our community, Libby. Instead, she left traumatized, thousands of dollars out of pocket, and afraid to come back. This wasn't just an inconvenience, it was humiliating, aggressive, and unjust. She felt targeted and harassed. And when I arrived on scene and tried to speak to the chief on her behalf as a concerned citizen and professional, he refused to even acknowledge me. That's not community policing, that's intimidation. This incident has done real harm, not just to her, but to the reputation and safety of Libby. If we are treating expert volunteers like criminals, what message are we sending to people who might come and help us? I urge you to take this seriously. Libby deserves better. Our guests deserve better. And if this can happen to a doctor volunteering her time, this can happen to anybody. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Then seeing no other public comments, we'll move on with our agenda, which is new business. I will remind you that as we move on to new business, the public is welcome to comment on each agenda item under consideration by the council, allowing you to share your thoughts prior to the council vote. Again, each person is limited to 3 minutes per topic. Comments must be specific to the agenda topic and motion under discussion. Our first item is to approve the chainsaw carving contest, street closures, and exception to open container request for September 3rd through 7th. And we do have 2 representatives here. They provided a letter and a map of their plans.
Madam Mayor and Council, Eric Wynn with the Venture Inn in Kootenai Country, Montana. Here's Brent Lane also.
Country 123 Bachman. Basically what we're asking for is the same event plan. The only thing we've really added differently is we saw for the last 2 years, public restrooms were very minimal. So we added more porta potties at each street closure. I tried to get 4 dumpsters for approval at each half block to make cleanup at the end of the carving more accessible and more reasonably timed, and we can keep it up to date and cleaner for the streets of Libby throughout the carving contest. We also are asking for the 2 porta potties at the park for the kids carnival. And basically the mayor, when we spoke to the mayor and she had us draw out the map, she has the X's on the map for garbage cans. We plan on dumping those daily in the morning before anything gets started. We plan on doing the sawdust and cleanup every morning between 5:30 and 8 right before they carve, so we can keep on top of everything. Sidewalks will still be open, emergency exits will still be open. You can still get emergency equipment, ambulances, everything in there, fire trucks in there. We can still get to the railroad depot. We're not, closing anything off, and sidewalks will all be open. Nothing will be set on the sidewalks.
Okay. Does council have any comments?
I'll make a motion that we approve the street closure and alcohol variance.
Second.
Okay. So any council questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great planning, thank you.
Okay, are there any public comments on the street closure regarding the chainsaw carving contest? Any public comments? Public comments? Then all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That request is granted. Looking forward to the event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elida, requests for the Blues Festival noise variance.
Good evening, Elida Snow. 647 Northland Avenue. I am here representing the Riverfront Blues Festival Board, and we are requesting the noise variance until 1 a.m. on both August 9th and August 10th.
Okay. And this is in exactly like you have done in the past?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the noise variance for August 9th and 10th for the Riverfront Blues Festival.
Second.
Okay. Any questions regarding the request? Questions? Okay. Thank you. Any public comments regarding this request? Public comments regarding this request? Public comments? Then all in favor of the noise variance request?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That variance is granted. Next up is to approve Timberline's street closure for the 700 block of Mineral Avenue on July 8th from 8 a.m. to 11, so that Timberline can take what's it called? Delivery of a new car, expensive new car.
Cool new car.
Yes.
I'll recuse myself from this.
Sure. Motion?
I'll make the motion. We approve the Timberline Road closure for July 9th, or July 8th from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m.
Second.
Okay. Any questions regarding that? And Mr. Zimmerman is recusing himself from the vote. So, any public comments regarding this request? Any public comments? Public comments? All right. Then all in favor of the street closure?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next up is to approve ordinance 2056, Title 10, Chapter 24, the second reading.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2056.
Second.
Okay. I will go ahead and read the preamble of ordinance 2056, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Libby, Montana, amending Title 1, Chapter 1, Section 1.04 to add right-of-way definition, and Title 10, Chapter 24 to control parking upon the city right-of-way. Whereas the City of Libby adopted ordinance number 743 adding definitions in 1973, and whereas the City of Libby adopted ordinance number 750 enacting parking code in 1973, and whereas the city has identified safety concerns of pedestrians being blocked from walking on sidewalks, the inability to plow snow without liability, and reduced visibility for drivers to identify hazards, all caused by residents parking on the city right-of-way, and whereas the city has identified the lack of specific and simplified municipal code to deter residents from parking upon the city right-of-way, and whereas the city desires to facilitate a uniform enforcement mechanism to enhance safety throughout the city. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Libby, Montana, that Title 1, Chapter 1, and Title 10, Chapter 24 of the Libby Municipal Code is amended as follows in the printed text. So I have a motion and a second. Is there any comment from the council? Any public comment regarding ordinance number 2056? Public comment. Public comment. Then all in favor of the second reading of ordinance 2056?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to resolution 2057. A resolution setting the salaries of the City of Libby, Montana, and wages of elected officials, appointed officers, and city employees. And Ms. Monnegold was going to explain this.
Yeah, usually we do this resolution during, like, when we're finalizing our budget. But because that comes so late and it's easier for payroll if we can do it right at the beginning of the year, of the fiscal year for July 1st, it was recommended that we bring it before the council to pass this portion for the raises. That's already, part of those raises are already in CBA, which that's, the COLA is actually a 1.5 and the CBA increase is 1%. So this was to just help streamline payroll as I get ready to prepare it for this coming up year.
She did.
And
I
sorry.
was going to say she did provide
And
the current wages from the 2025 budget.
Yeah, you could
for
just see the comparison there.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2057.
Second.
Any comments on it or questions from the council? Okay. Any public comments regarding resolution 2057? Public comments? Public comments? Then all in favor of resolution 2057?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A resolution is approved. Brings us to all claims received to date. Did everyone get a chance to look at the claims?
Make a motion to approve all claims received to date.
Second.
Any questions on any of the claims? Okay. Any public comments on the claims? We'll remind you, if you're interested in seeing what's in the claims, you are welcome to come and look at them. They're available all of Monday of the council meeting, and any questions can be explained by the staff. So if there are any public comments on the claims? Public comments? All in favor of approval of all claims received to date?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Those claims are approved. Approve all business license applications received to date. Is Mom's Needs Performance Restoration DBA is ServPro of Spokane County, and the Chaotic Gnome.
I think it's chaotic.
Chaotic?
I think it's supposed to be.
Okay. I should have looked at
It's
Chaotic
weird.
Gnome. Yes. Which is at 254 Avenue B.
Make a motion to approve all business license applications received to date.
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions on any of those applications? Any public comments on those business applications? Any public comment? Public comment. Then all in favor of the business license received to date?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carries. Those business licenses are approved. Brings us to unfinished business. We did put the scooter request back down into unfinished business. I had a visit with Jeff this past week, and he's got a couple of loose ends he needs to tie up. We did put the publication out for next week's paper so that we can move on to that process and hopefully have a vote on July 21st. So, and it brings us to Gail, I'm sorry, I forgot to put the Community Development Fund back on.
Let's do it next time.
Okay. Gail does want to revisit the Community Development Fund regarding the grant writer, and we did hand out that information, and we will talk about it on the next meeting. So that does bring us to general comments from the council. Does council have any comments? Any items? Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.